Hi everybody, and welcome to Demon Performance. I'm John, and today we're going to start out with what looks like a slideshow which will cover some of the unboxing aspects of the Stinger exhaust and show you some of the conditions and the fit and finish up close with all the individual parts. And then I'm going to move into the second part of the video, which will be me showing you the bike running with kind of a quick walkthrough. So let's get started here. Okay, if you look at the first picture, you can see the picture of the can, the end can, and this is basically what it comes looking like out of the box. And you can see that it's a nicely made piece. However, I think that the brush finish was done a little hastily. You can see that there's brush marks that are not even, and it was done hastily with some sort of a wire brush on a Dremel, or not a Dremel, but on an arbor, and it left a little bit to be desired as compared to some of the premium exhausts on the market. And I'm talking exhausts like Leovins or Akrapovic or others like that. But you have to remember that those exhausts are thousands of dollars. This was a few $100s. So all in all, I'm not complaining. I'm just saying there's a little bit of a difference. If you're expecting a finish like you're going to get in a high cost premium exhaust, you're not going to get that. But the TIG welding is well done. It's not as pretty as some, but most of it is 100% perfect. There's a few spots that you'll see that. You can see at this one picture where there's a little bit of unevenness in the TIG welding. And as we go through these first couple of slides, you'll notice that there's some issues with the way the TIG welding looks. It has nothing to do with how it functions. That said, moving on to the next picture, which is the end can. Now, if you can look at the end of the end can, as it were, you can see that in terms of fit and finish, there's a little filing that wasn't done. So, I mean, they obviously cut off the end of that DB killer with a circular cutoff, and they never bothered to deburr the cut, which, again, it's okay. I have a file. It's not a big deal. The exhaust is, again, a great value. At only $400 shipped, it was a remarkable value. So not really complaining, just pointing out some things that you might be concerned with should you buy this and we're expecting Class A fit and finish. The one thing I will say is you must be very careful, because there's a note included in the box that tells you that the DB killer must be fitted at all times in order to have the exhaust work properly and not to cause damage to the exhaust. If you don't use the DB killer and don't clip it in there, it will damage the interior of the perforated pipe in the interior of the muffler and void the warranty. Now, if I were TEC, I would have put that in big black or big red letters somewhere on the box, but it's mentioned in the instructions. So if you don't read, if you're one of the guys that don't like to read instructions, you may miss it. But if you don't install it, and it comes uninstalled, in my case, it was loose in the box, you had to put it in. So if by chance you installed the muffler and didn't put it in, you'd be in trouble if there were any damages caused to the muffler. But other than that, that's the unboxing, and we're going to move into the review. So we'll talk about the view and move outside. Okay, people, this is just a quick review of my new TEC motorcycle parts Stinger 2-in-1 exhaust. As you can see, I've already installed it. I've warmed it up and heat sealed it, and I took it for just a little short test ride, and I'm extremely happy with the results. In just a second, I'm going to turn it on and let you hear it, and then I'll talk a little bit more about my impressions. And there you can hear a little bit of it. It's got a nice quiet rumble when it's idling, but when you give it a little throttle, it really responds. As you can see, it really hugs the bike. It tucks close underneath and it doesn't stick out any more than it has to. It's all 304 stainless steel, and as you can hear, it has a really nice sound. And as far as my riding impressions, it's actually more than I hoped for. Very quiet when you're around town and you don't give it a lot of throttle, but when you really get on wide open throttle, it comes alive and it has a real throaty, deep rumble. Very nice. And there's absolutely no popping on D-cell, no tendency to crack or pop in any gear on D-cell. It's a really perfectly matched to this bike. They did an excellent job of engineering this thing, and for me, I like the look. Some people don't like that kind of a look. This is kind of more or less a tracker or track look, and the fact that the 2-to-1 increases the torque and just saving 25 pounds of weight is worth the price of admission. So that's all for now. Give further road tests. I also want to mention that this has been installed in conjunction with a 14-tooth countershaft sprocket, which really gives it a quick start in first and second gear and lowers the gear ratio overall and closens the ratio between the gears. So for me, this a very good result. A little bit more torque, a little bit more horsepower, a lot less weight, and a lower gearing. So this is a nice, responsive, quick out of the chute bike. Okay, that's all for now. I'll sign off and take care and ride safe.